Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the First Fruits Stop Club. Hey, I have another show for you today. I hope you guys are having an outstanding week. Man, every week is always a blessing. Every day is always a blessing. Um, excuse me, I am uh I did not get a chance to shave for this, so I'm thugging it out, I guess. Whatever you say. But today, I have a show for you today, and the main topic, and I always start out with a topic and a story. If it's first time you joining me, and today's topic and today's main subject line is get out. All right, get out. So man, I was doing some research for this show. I did not know Jordan Peele and Michael Keegan were the producers of the movie Get Out. I did not know that. I mean, the movie's been out. Get Out's been out for a while, um, but I was thinking about it, and I was going to use it as my main intro today. So if you go back into the movie, if you remember, the movie was like a horror film, portrays a horror film, and had a lot of undertones of culture and interracial relationships and a lot of that going on. But one of the main scenes of the movie is when Chris, right, who plays the boyfriend of the young lady, I don't know her name, but plays the boyfriend, right, and he basically the parents basically, try to kidnap Chris, right? And he's sitting in this chair, and his girlfriend's mom is like a therapist, and her overall goal was to put him in a trance, and basically he would basically be in servitude to their family. All right. So she uses this cup, right, uh, with this I guess, sound where she was going around a cup, and basically it took him back as a child to some of the traumas he may have had, right? And he goes into this trance, and what they call the trance was like a sunken place, right? A place where, and basically he was in a trance and he couldn't get out of this trance. Later on in the movie, of course, I don't want to spoil. He did get out of the trance, but what this movie relates to, and the movie Get Out is to, in America today, there's a lot of people stuck in like a financial sunken place, right? A place of sunken debt, a place of sunken expectations, a place of sunken where you may have lost your job, a place where you may have not be receiving the income that you once had. We're all kind of like in this sunken place, and we may feel stuck in this place. And the overall goal, right? And what I discussed last week and the last few weeks, I'm going to stay on this. Is the formula for first fruits, right? And so the question is, how do we get out of this sunken place? It's not just us to go through the problems every week, First fruits, man, when we there's something about, right, the first dollars, right? There's something about the first dollars you bring into your household and the decisions you make with those first dollars, right? And what we've done as Americans, as consumers, right, is that we don't pay attention to the first dollars. And the first dollars go to some sort of debt, right? Some sort of payment, some sort of something, right? Where in the future, it sets up for us to stay in this sunken place where we feel like, man, I can't get out of this, right? I have debt, I can't get out of this, right? I went to school, I did all these things, and you telling me that just stuck and I can't, I hate my job. I can't get out of this because I needed to pay my bills, right? And a lot of times it's not the job's fault because the first fruits philosophy is that if you follow it, you will basically be able to work for free, right? And you're not really concerned if they something happens in the economy and your salary or your overall budget is decreased, right? You have to put yourself in position. The first fruits, the beginning, the first dollars you bring into your household helps you do that. And it's really it's not easy, right? It's not easy. The philosophy is not easy. I mean, there's always so many things to buy. And then when you buy things, those things create you have to maintain those things. There's a continuing cost to owning and to being a consumer, right? It's never just one time thing. The companies have to operate, right? So it's our job to protect the first dollars that come into our household, right? It's our job, right? And a lot of times, you know, as an American, if you live in America or if you generated income, you are blessed. But especially if you're in a country where you make in the top 10% in regards to income around the world, right? But it's up to you to keep your income, right? It's up to you to protect those first fruits. And what happens is if you let your wants and your desires overtake your first fruits, right? It becomes a burden to your household when the climate changes, when the business cycle changes, and the business cycle always changes. One president does not change a business cycle, right? Can't blame that. The blame, really, you have to take responsibility for your own household, right? And protect your first fruits because it doesn't matter how much money you make. If you make $1 million and you spend or you have $1 million in debt and you spend $1 million, how much have you made? You haven't made anything. So, first fruits, right, allows you to protect what is yours, what is sacred. Those first dollars are sacred. And when you decide to not allow those dollars to stick, when you decide not to give first fruits, you are deciding, you are deciding, you are deciding to be stuck in a sunken place. So I'm here today to help you get out. I'm here today to help you get out. And first fruits is your way out. What is the first fruit? The first fruits is the first dollars you bring into your household. You do two things. Very simple. The first dollar you do is you give. I give to my church. You might have a charity, whatever. You give those first dollars. When you do not give those first dollars, those sacred dollars, then you open yourself up to the whims of the economy. See, first fruits is a practice. Okay? It gives you protection over your household. And when you don't give those first fruits, you lose protection over your household and your finances. The first dollars are so important, right? And when you don't, and it's not more money, you need protection. All right, so what? The first dollars and the first 10% is we're giving. And what happens is we are so selfish, right? Because the reason why, because everyone, if you're able-bodied and you're able to work, right? You can give 10% of your income. When you cannot give 10%, that means greed has taken over. That means that you have putting things in front of the first fruits. The second step in the first fruits is putting money back into the economy that gave you the income. I know we believe that we have a skill set and that we're so dope and that we have it. No, this is the greatest economy in world history. There has never been an economy like the one we're in. We have ups and downs, just like any economy, but there probably will never be, people say, well, it's a downfall. There will never be an economy like the United States. The greatest economy ever. All right. And when you are able to take your first fruits, and this economy helps you to generate what you generate, it helps you bring money to your household, right? It helps you bring money to your house. So when you don't give money back to the economy that gave you what you have, then you go back into a sunken place. And what happens is you will be bullied financially. The economy says, oh, you think that what you earn is yours. I'm going to show you that it's not. Inflation, taxes, contraction. These are the bullies in this economy that says, oh, you don't want to be an investor? Or you think that you can just take your money and do whatever you want? I'm going to show you. And it's going to be over time. I'm going to show you what you thought was yours, and I'm going to make you give it back to me. The economy will make you give it back to you by one, taxes, inflation, contraction. That's why we must give our sacred first fruits, giving, investing back into the economy that gave us the opportunity. And you don't have to do it, but the economy is going to get his money. Right? Don't blame it on one person. And some of us have never been taught the concept of first fruits. That's why I'm here. I'm here every week. First fruits, first fruits. First fruits is the key to your issue. First fruits will get you out of the sunken place. So if we're trying to get out, 10% giving, the next whatever percent you're investing. After that, pay your bills. What you have left, do whatever you want with it. But that's your real budget. And what happens is the economy shows you what your real budget is. And if you give the economy, if the consumer, if you give yourself access to, to your first dollars by being stingy with those first dollars and thinking that you can spend them on what you want, the economy comes after those dollars. Not only comes after those dollars, whatever dollars you thought you might have had is coming after them. And there's nothing you can basically do about it except first fruits. All right. All right. So look, that's enough of that. So, man, get out. First fruits is the key. All right. Let's go to the next thing. All right. So let's go to the next one. So the topic today is get out. The Dow Jones Industrial Average. Man, last week, uh, right before the Fed met in Jackson Hole, as you can see, the Dow Jones skyrocketed up to 580 points. That's why we always stay invested. We always stay invested. Having extra money available. Hopefully, you were able to take advantage of that. Don't worry, you'll have another time to take advantage of it next month, which is, we're a few days away to the beginning of um, September, right? So, but yeah, up 580 points from last Thursday till today. So I do it in the S&P 500 up 111 points, 46 cents last week. As you see, look, after Jerome Powell had his Jackson Hole meeting, he basically agreed that he's going to, I mean, the insight was, or um, it, what he stated was that we expect a rate cut next month in September. He didn't say it. He didn't say I'm definitely going to, but we'll see. There we go with expectations in the market, right? If he does anything or decides not to cut, we're gonna have a problem. I don't like how this is being set up, but as we know right now, is that the market is saying that it's a high percentage. I think it's like 95% that he will cut in September. And so, what can happen, and this is the same thing that happened in Nvidia. Um, Same thing that happened in Nvidia is that what happened is people get the news. And get the news like some event is going to happen in the future, and they buy early on, and they keep buying up to the event, and then once the event happens, they sell. All right, so you have to watch that. So, so will the market keep going on? So the market may keep going on until till I think the September 17th is when the market is expected to raise rates. Cut rates. So the market may rise going into that, and may fall sometime in September. All right. So we had a week of a lot of earnings this week. Just Wednesday, yesterday, and one of the main stocks in the market today is Nvidia. Right. So Nvidia um, reported yesterday, and so I just wanted to do a moment on Nvidia, and let's quickly discuss the earnings, how they're doing. So so let's look at the heat map for today. So the heat map stating that Broadcom had was up 2.8%. Apple was up 0.9%. Microsoft was up. Amazon was up, and Google cut off Google, but Google was up, right? And so stock market greed, we're at 66. I do not like that. But it's not too bad. You know, um, I might take some close out a few positions and maybe raise some cash. All right, in my account. But I have a few plays right now, option plays, as well as my buy and hold are doing pretty well. Nvidia. So as of today, Nvidia, like I said, was uh, it basically. Let me look at go to so Nvidia from last Thursday till today was kind of on an uptrend, right? Because we didn't know everyone was looking at their earnings. So people expected Nvidia to do well, but you never know how to do well. So remember I discussed how things can trade up until that moment comes. It's like the day before Christmas, right? People are real excited. And then when Christmas comes, right? And then when Christmas comes, it's like, okay, all right, well, we've been through I see I had an opportunity to look at my presents. All right, it's cool. Finally play with them. It's nothing like the excitement, the build up to that point. So that's what we have to watch for when the Fed meets again and decides the rate cut and the amount. All right. So so yes, it was down today, down $1.43. I think it was down almost 2%. So all right, so look, so this is what they reported. The revenue hit. So NVIDIA generated $46.7 billion. That's up 56% from a year ago and 6% higher than last quarter. Data center sales, $41.1 billion. You have to look at these staggering numbers. This was also up 56% year over year. The Blackwell chip also grew revenue by 17%, which was great, right? NVIDIA is one of my holdings, my options as well as um, long-term hold and even my dividends. So I'm all in NVIDIA. So adjusted earnings per share, $1.05 per share, um, beating expectations by about 4 cents, right? And this is good too. They're announcing buybacks. They're making so much money, they're going to buy back some of the stock they have outstanding, right? So net income climbed roughly 59%. And like I said, they revealed a massive $60 billion stock repurchase plan. And the good thing about it is that that's why you hold it, right? And when they start buying, right, it's good to have the stock. Because not saying that it's going to raise the stock that much, but it may, right? And what a lot of investors do is that they do the announcements. Once they do the announcements, they can basically buy back at any time, right? And they decide with their financial people when is the best time for them to buy back. And but it's good for you if the stock goes down to hold it, right, and participate in them taking more shares out of the market, and then you're able, right, to your stock price will go up because it's like a scarcity thing, or less shares, prices go up, supply and demand thing, right? So the only issue that it has is China remains thorny. No H2O chip sales to China, and this is a new chip they created just for China. Some inventory was released elsewhere. They don't know where the other purchasing of the inventory is about $180 million worth. But the outlook for Q3 still excludes China, which is an issue, but they're still generating so much money. So soft data center surprises despite strong growth. Data center roughly slightly missed analyst expectation. Remember, is is the market is all about expectations. People expect the company perform and generate certain revenue, and when they don't, right, that's when the problem. That's when the stock falls. Okay, so so that's it. Look, guys, so important, right? You understand the first. Sorry, the first fruit should be at the center of your financial plan, and when you decide, when you let your wants, not your needs, your wants come in front of those first dollars are so sacred. And when you have your needs come in front of and take those first dollars and you don't give those dollars back, right? By giving and investing, right? Then you will put yourself in a place and like the movie Get Out, in a sunken place. You'll wonder, how did I get here? I'm a college graduate. I generate income, but yet I'm in the wrong place. Like I'm not, we're not moving forward financially. And then you start making decisions. Well, let's use credit cards, sunk in place, right? Then, sometimes, then you miss bills and then it ruins your debt, sunk in place. The objective of first fruits is, let me tell you, ET has been really, if you don't know who the ET, the hip hop preacher, he's been on this thing about order, right? Man, this is one of the best. Um, he's been on fire, right? APOC Ministries, if you're not familiar, check it out on YouTube. But he's about order, right? First fruits gives you order, right? That's why I named my podcast I've been doing this for the last couple of years about first fruits, right? It gives you order, right? Those first dollars are sacred. And when you do not give those first dollars away, when you do not put yourself in position to give those first dollars away, then you'll get stuck in a place, a sunken place, just like the movie, right? And starting a first fruits order allows you, okay, to work your way out of it, right? Work your way out of it. And what might have to happen is you start with first fruits, even if you can't start with 10%, start what you can. Start with the order. Get into the habit, right? You start with the habit, give, open a brokerage account, invest. My first dollars every time I get paid, give, invest, and then increase it over time. And then if you're having problems with the back end of your check, hey, you might need to get second job, or you might need to get a side hustle, whatever, to make up the difference. Okay, all right. But those first dollars, and something magical happens when you follow order. I'm Donald Green. Hey, I appreciate you guys for giving me